you're having a pleasant morning or afternoon or evening or even night wherever you are. Welcome to my small talks with AB. So today I have a story I want to share with you guys. This is a real life story that happened 2 days ago in a place in Nigeria. So I'll get right on to the story. But before that, I just want to point that people need to look after their kids. You need to be careful of the people that you leave around your kids. Do not entirely trust anybody that they are perfect, they are good around your kids because the days are crazy, are getting scary. Okay, so I'll go right to the story. A mother found out that her child was not feeling fine, and then she thought it was just random, you know, illness like the baby had a fever or something. And then she was just trying to soothe the child by giving medication, um, attending in the African way where you use hot water and, try to massage a child, try those home remedies to for the child to have relief. This child in question was just 6 months old, a 6 month old girl, still breastfeeding. And then the mother was some few days, into that old illness, baby was crying, uncomfortable, and she decided to check the child, the whole body of the child, and she found out that the child had bruises down in a private areas. And so she took the child to the hospital. On getting to the hospital, the doctor checked the child and said, and called the mother and said, what we are looking at is a case of defilement of a 6 month old child. Now, this is where it gets so crazy. So, I don't know what word to use to express it, but it was just evil. Not only was that child defiled in a private part, but she was also defiled at her butt, her bum. Now, who could do that to a 6-year-old child? Now, questions were being asked. Who did you leave the child with? Who was in the house with you? Who stays with you? And the mother was, I have a 13-year-old sister or cousin, because normally over here they call cousins sisters, they call distant relations sisters, just to tell you that they are family. Okay, so she said it's her sister, a 13-year-old, and she usually comes to the house with a friend. And so it was found out that they had inserted with a hand or something into the 6 month old child, both from front and behind. And it has caused a lot of infection. It has shifted the intestine of the child. It has shifted some inner organs. They had broken her hernia at that age. So they immediately had to commence on surgery for that child because the child was in pain and had a bloated stomach. So they asked the mother, why didn't you bring the child? She said the child wasn't bloated as at when she was trying to give home remedy. It was at that point she saw that the bloating wasn't going down. She had to run to the hospital. And so the doctor immediately swung into action and carried out a surgery. Now you would not believe. For a 6 month old child, they had to cut a large chunk of her intestine, because it was infected, it was bad, and it was bloated like a small pipe. If you know a pipe that we normally use in plumbing, if you live in Nigeria, those kind of small pipes you will connect to the tap outside the house, the compound, it was that bloated and lengthy. I would say the intestine that was removed from that child that was bloated could be about 2 to 3 feet long, and it was swollen. Like the mother literally, it was given to her, and she literally brought it out in the video. So the child currently is being checked upon in the ICU to make sure that the child recovers. Now, if you see the incision on a 6-month-old child, all the way from the chest area down to the abdomen, because other organs were shifted. Now I wonder, how could somebody do that to a 6-year-old child? What did the child do? Like a child that cannot talk, that cannot fend for itself, that cannot protect itself, somebody defied. Now, the doctor said something, that this was done with a hand. A hand was put into that child, or either they inserted, like probably they used an instrument or something to do that. So my guess is this: whoever did that was into lesbianism and decided to try that out with a 6-month-old child. Now, it was alleged that the 13-year-old sister of the mother and her friend were probably the culprit. And as we speak to you, they are nowhere to be found. Mind you, this 13-year-old stays with the victim's mother. And when all this went out, she ran away. As of today, we're yet to hear if the girl and her friend has been apprehended. And that's why I said in the beginning of my live video, who you leave your kids with is so important. Please, if you are just joining my life, welcome. This is Small Talks with AB, and I share interesting stories that we can learn, we can relate to, we can share with people, and also get values from. Please don't forget to like and share. Please leave a comment. I would appreciate that. I'm new to YouTube, and welcome to my channel. So, as I was saying, I just shared a story about a 6-month-old child that was defiled allegedly by the mother's 13-year-old sister and her friend. And the surgery was done on the child. And her intestines, her stomach was bloated, her intestines were rotten because it was infected, and they had to carry an emergency surgery. And they took about almost 3 feet long of her intestine out from a 6-month-old child. And the culprits, the suspects, are on the run as we speak. We're here to get any information if they have been apprehended. And if they have been apprehended, I would also share that with you guys. And I really hope that this child gets justice. Now, it begs the question, can't we leave kids with adults? Same adults that some of them didn't have anybody doing something bad to them. Why would you take a small child of 6 years and practice, sexual things? 6 months, that cannot talk, that cannot feed herself, that cannot do anything, cannot walk. Why would you choose to do that to a child and leave a child with trauma? Now, it begs the question, where is the humanity in us? Like, you can't be relaxed and say, oh, I left my child with my sister, with my brother, with my uncle, with my father, with my mother anymore. You have to suspect everybody. You have to look at everybody with a second eye, with a third eye. Like, you have no rest inside you. I think mothers can relate to what I'm saying, and fathers, most especially mothers. So while your work and your child is in school, you're scared that nobody touches your child, whether it be a male or a female. While you're at work, or you're in church, or you're at your religious center, or even in a gathering, you're scared. Your eyes are always alert, looking after your child. Oh, where's my child? You know, you're careful, selective of the clothes that you wear your child, you know, because there are predators everywhere. Low-key predators, both male and female, low-key pedophiles. How do you protect your child? Because I really want to know, like, what are the measures you have to put in place to protect your child? What are those measures you put? Are they enough? Especially for children that are underage and cannot even take care of themselves, that are innocent, that are naturally gullible, because that's the age where they are. They do not know better. And how do we deal with adults who do that to little children? You know, a lot of people, when I read the comments under the story, I saw a lot of people calling for, you know, them to just get the girls, and if it's found, they should, unalive her and all that. Some people said, let her go to jail, while others said um, she should be beaten and all that. But I just want to say, if the suspect is actually the one who committed the crime on this 6 months old child, I don't understand how a 13-year-old would be engaged in such acts to the point that they will see a small child of 6 months and they want to carry out their sexual fantasies, evil sexual fantasies, and cause trauma to a 6 month old child who doesn't even know how the world is yet. And to that mother, you know, I really hope that the child gets justice, because no child deserves that. Nobody, no child deserves that. It's crazy that some of us have lost our conscience. We've lost our conscience. Like, I don't know, understand how we would boldly, some persons will boldly do things to a child who has not harmed them, who has not caused them any trouble. I can't understand. I cannot wrap my head around that. It's crazy. It's crazy times we are living in. And we all need to sit up. If you're a mother, if you're a father, you need to watch people around your kids, how they hug your kids, what they say to your kids whenever you're around them. You need to watch what they tell your kids. You need to study their body language. You need to observe, keenly observe adults around your kids, how they relate, how they talk. And before you bring your friends, your family close to your kids, you need to understand how the mindset of those people work by asking them random questions out of the blue. By asking them, talking to them, having a conversation. What are your values? How do you see kids? What do you think about kids? How do you raise kids? You need to ask people around you these questions before you bring them close to your kids. Yes, you have to be an investigator. You have to observe people on a low key. There's something they always say, that It is what is in the mind of somebody that they say out. There's an adage in Nigeria that says that, you know, and there's a scripture in the Bible that says, out of the abundance of thy heart, the mouth speaketh. So if you want to actually know, one sure way to actually know what somebody is thinking, it is what they say. It is what they say. And also what they do after saying that. After saying what they have said, what they do. It tells a lot about people. We don't want to have, low-key pedophiles, abusers around our kids. I'm someone that don't like making excuses for bad behavior. I do not condone it. I do not support it. I do not approve it. And I encourage people not to condone bad behavior from an adult. If an adult does something that he knows that it is wrong from the beginning, is aware, and you are also aware that he is aware or she is aware, do not condone that person. Do not condone that behavior. Correct it immediately. Tell the person, set the boundaries immediately. Do not enable badly behaved adults around your kids. How they talk, how they work, how they dance, how they eat, how they dress. If it doesn't align with your values as a parent, as a caretaker, as a guardian to kids, please do not condone. Set boundaries between you and those people. I think it will help to mitigate these happenings around us. It might not totally eradicate it, but if we are observant enough, if we put our feet on the ground, our eyes on the ground, and keenly observe people around us, whether they're people that we've known for 1,000 years, or they're just people we know yesterday, or people we grew up with, or people that are same blood with us or genealogy with us. Then we'll be able to see people for who they really are. No one can pretend for too long, No one can hide their character for too long, because character is who you are, whether somebody is there or not. Nobody can pretend for long. Trust me. You catch them by their words, and then after by their actions. So I do hope that this little baby gets justice, and I will be following up on the story, and I will be sharing, that story and the outcome and everything pretty soon. Currently, as it stands, I think there are activists that are already interested in the case, and they're making sure that they get the perpetrators of such wickedness on a 6-month-old child who was defied from both back and front of a private places in our body. So this is Small Talks with AB, and I hope that you have learned something and you share this. Please leave a comment after if you see this video to support my channel. Thank you so much, and do have a pleasant, beautiful day, and I hope you stay safe.